somebody who has a lot of wisdom in this space. Tom O'Neill from cv.co.nz. Tom, kia ora, thanks for joining us today.
Morena, dear friend, great to be back.
Firstly, just wanting to acknowledge that it is difficult. It's difficult for us so-called grown-ups, particularly if you're looking for work at the moment. For young people, especially for those who have never had a job, who are trying to find out what their place in the world is, to be given a series of knockbacks and essentially have it demonstrated to them that perhaps there isn't a place for them in society, that's pretty devastating.
Oh, look, it's horrific. One thing I really despise, unfortunately, I probably should rethink that, but it really frustrates me, is when you're dealing, young person, their first job. I never forget, I was working, a young guy, got his first job, and the boss was an apprenticeship, and the boss was just not a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he just destroyed this kid's confidence. Anyway, there's a friend through church, his son, and he was at his wit's end. This great young kid wanted to be a builder, and this guy just ripped it away from him. Anyway, he ended up coming and working on a project. I was there, and another mate from church, Carl, sort of took the lead and mentored him, and it was beautiful to watch him just turn from this guy who, was afraid to use a hammer, but without being yelled at, to suddenly comfortable, confident. That's the thing. And it's hard enough. Life's difficult enough without some person treating you like, in a really bad way, particularly when you're starting your career, because you just think that's how it is. And it's not how it is. There are good employers. So, yeah.
It is particularly tough, especially when you don't have the experience. And, we understand why employers are looking for people with experiences. Young people don't have them, looking for that first break. And I don't know, there's something about the parent-child relationship, especially as they're getting older, they're trying to be the grown-up in the room. We want to encourage as parents, but maybe there's other adults in the lives of our children that perhaps are in a better place to influence and encourage, do you think?
Look, I've written 4 books on careers, employment, published all around the world, and my kids don't listen to me. That's not humbling. I don't know what it is. It's about, getting them to reach out to wise people, so maybe people in your church who are in that industry. So, for example, if your kid wants to get into accounting or finance, maybe someone at your church who's actually involved in banking, on the finance system. Reach out to them, just ask them, hey, look, would you, just have a coffee with my son or daughter? There may be someone in the trades at church. That's such a beautiful blessing of being in the faith family. Just having people like that available and wanting to help. Most people at church couldn't be more happy to put their hand up and just get good, wise counsel from the industry. So that's a really great place to, of course, reach out.
Well, you and I often talk about the importance of a good CV, your brochure, which communicates to a potential employer, hey, this is who I am, this is what I can offer your organisation. Now, for children that are fresh out of high school, they probably did like a board Tuesday afternoon on how to write your CV, but that's not necessarily going to cut it given how competitive the job market is at the moment. As you say, Tom, you've written the book on the topic. How can you encourage, how should we encourage our children to dig a bit deeper when it comes to CV and cover letter and really putting their best foot forward in this space?
Yeah, I mean, that because most students think, well, I've got nothing. I've got, okay, let's say NZE level 2, or 3,
nothing.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's great, but again, let's sort of relook at that. Okay, cool. So what subjects did you study? Did you get a course merit or excellence? Those sort of things. But okay, well then let's look at what experience you have. Oh, I don't have any work experience. Well, you do. You work part-time at that bakery. You're also involved in, working in that shoe shop. My son's working part-time. Joey is working part-time at Athlete's Foot in Hamilton. Mm-hmm. He just became the top salesperson in the whole country for a promotion they had. And the funny thing is, Joey's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, mate, this is amazing. And he's like, Oh, okay. And, and I'm told, write this stuff down,
Yeah.
and this is the thing. So many of us, no matter where we're coming from, have some things. For example, let's say you're a student at school and you finished up, you're wondering, look, have you been played in rugby and in any sports? Yeah, I was a vice captain. That shows leadership.
Yeah.
I was, the lead, the lead in the play.
Yeah.
Wow, that shows communication, sales, that sort of stuff. As well as that, there's other things. Scouts, you're at a senior rank or whatever it is. There may be just other things outside of school or in school that you can look at and just try and tap into. Another thing is also get quotes from employer or people in your life that you may have just done some work for. I remember a young guy, again on a real looking to pretty much go to jail type pathway, and he came and did some work for me, did some hard work, did a great job, wrote him a reference, was his verbal referee, got into dairy farming, and now is a dairy farm manager. This is a kid who was just spiraling out of control. Next thing you know, all he needed was a good break, a good verbal referee, and that was enough to just help him just pull finger and get himself moving forward. So we take quotes, for example, from employers' references and put those in the CV. Andrew's a great team player who's not afraid to get stuck in, and da 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 da. Well, it's a lot more than most kids' CVs that just say, "I went to school," or have a degree, and that's great. But what else? For students, any high level grades, that's always good. But also, like me, I mean, I was a B, the average student, but I was actively involved in other things in school. I was the vice president of the Christian group on campus, and other kids would be involved in the newspaper or the radio, whatever it is, or of course working part-time and having success there. So it's about digging deep and just really thinking more than just, I don't have any work experience.
Yeah, no, so good to be able to highlight achievements, and actually there can be something really positive and uplifting and affirming for young people saying, hey, I have got that, and whether or not they get the next job they apply for, being able to say, yes, I am capable, yes, I have achievements, I haven't been given the opportunity to put that into practice yet, but that doesn't take away from from my identity in that regard. Tom, just finally on this one, if for parents who are really struggling in this space, they've tried to be an encouragement, but it hasn't worked out well, particularly in the area of CVs. I mean, this is what you do. And hey, very generous in being able to offer some insights for young people that are struggling to get that first interview, to get that job. Maybe their CV, maybe their brochure is a bit of an obstacle towards that. You're in a position to be able to give them some insight, help them remove that barrier, perhaps.
Oh, look, very, very happy. If you're a parent, concerned parent, or student, or a young person, you want to just get some feedback. I'm very happy, free of charge, just to give you some feedback. I'll send you a copy of my book as well. You can email me, Tom, T-O-M, at cv.co.nz. That's Tom, T-O-M, at cv.co.nz. And anyone in general as well, you're more than welcome to fire it in. I'll just give you my thoughts.
Tom, really appreciate the work that you do, the expertise that you have in this area, and also the generosity of spirit that you bring to this as well. Thank you so much. cv.co.nz, of course, the place to go for more information. Thanks for joining us today.
God bless me, dear friend. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.